So there's this quote which has been stuck in my brain for the past 11 years, and it's actually a dialogue from this really famous Indian movie called Three Idiots, where the guy says that do not chase success, chase knowledge and excellence, and success will automatically come to you. What's cooking, sapiens? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Arham and I'm a fourth year medical student at the University of Oslo in Norway. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, blah blah blah, you know the drill. And now let's get straight to business. So I just mentioned this quote or this dialogue, right? But I never really had the chance to actually practice this as well, because back in college or back in high school, grades was all that mattered to me. And that was not only because I wanted to get into medical school, and hence I had to really aim for high grades, because in order to get into medical school in Norway, all that counts is actually your GPA from high school, your GPA from college. So I really had to push myself to get the best possible grades. But yeah, it was also because of my personality, because ever since like elementary school, I was known as the guy who would get top grades. My entire existence, my entire identity was simply connected to being this dude or being this student who would get good grades, who was the smarty pants, who the teachers loved, and who sort of knew everything, or who was the massive nerd. And for some very odd reason, I also used to take pride in being that smarty pants in the class. I used to like that sort of attention, or or the fact that my identity was directly linked to with grades. That was something I really took pride in as well. And then, well, I continued this same pattern over and over, during the years, and I finally got into medical school. And then you see all these amazing kids, or all these amazing students who are, if not more, at least, equally smart as you, or equally nerd as you as well. And then all of a sudden, you are not just the only guy in the class, who is extremely smart. You have all these other people as well who are, really massive nerds as well. And hence, at that point, I really felt that, okay, now finally my identity is not linked with my grades anymore, because everybody here is supposed to get good grades, or everybody here are the ones who used to have that identity back in college, right? So everybody has been like me, and now that we all are together in this one group or one class or one batch, my identity is going to be freed, or I don't have to be that same person anymore. That's the sort of thing that I used to think back in the days, or when medical school started, for a few months. And then all of a sudden, for some very odd reason, people started to talk about me, and there would be rumors about me being another smarty pants within the medical school community, right? So I would be called, I got a nickname called Professor.
Really?
I have never known where that came from, but yeah, that's actually a fact. I'm not even kidding, guys. So yeah. And that really felt back again, that made me feel that, okay, so where exactly is this coming from? I have again the same problem, that my identity is directly linked towards getting good grades, because now in medical school, people are calling me the professor, and hence I have to, get good grades in order to, maintain my reputation. And this was actually towards the end of my first year in medical school. So, and that was the time that we actually started learning anatomy as well. So, I was thinking that, okay, I have to ace an A in anatomy, because that was, the hardest subject back then. So I was like, okay, I really need to work hard and maintain my reputation, my identity. So I worked extremely hard in anatomy, would spend long hours trying to learn anatomy and, trying to remember every single details. But the point was, I actually got an A as well in anatomy, and I also secured a job as an assistant teacher at the anatomy department, at my university in medical school. And this was actually the period when I realized this thing called hedonic adaptation, which is basically the idea that whenever we make a certain purchase, let's say buying a new car or a new laptop, anything, a new camera, we feel a certain level of happiness there and then, or maybe for certain days, and then our level of happiness goes back to the baseline level. And this is pretty much where this entire concept about that money cannot buy happiness comes from as well, because whenever you make a certain purchase, or and achieve basically anything in life, that happiness lasts for only a few moments or a few days, a few hours, and then your baseline happiness level falls down below to the point that you were at before achieving that certain thing, or before buying that certain certain gadget or whatever it may be. And this is pretty much what happened with me as well, because before I got an A in anatomy, I used to think that getting an A is going to be the best thing ever, because before this exam I actually never got an A in any exam in medical school. So I was thinking that, okay, acing an A in medical school is going to be the best feeling ever. And upon getting that A, achieving that thing that I really wanted to, I realized that, okay, the happiness that I got from getting an A lasted only for a few moments, like a few hours. That's it. And then my happiness levels went back to the same level as they were before I got my exam result. So this made me realize that what the heck are you doing, Arham? Is this really how I want things to be? You know, letting others define my identity and spending my life trying to prove them right? Hell no. To all my fellow medical students out there, the hard truth is that most patients, or 99.9% of patients, do not really care about what grade you had in your physiology exam or what grade you had in your anatomy exam. Nobody cares, not even the doctors that you work with after you graduate, guys, because people do realize that your competence as a doctor does not directly come from your grades. There are students who get C's on average in medical school, but they turn out to be extremely good doctors because simply they had other experiences in life as well, which helps them become doctors. Because being a doctor is not just about your academics, it's a lot of other qualities as well, like resilience, like teamwork, like understanding, like empathy towards your patients, and trying to understand the bigger picture. All these things do not come directly from academics. These are independent abilities which you learn from life after you graduate, or once you actually start working as a doctor. So there is actually this one simple rule that I have realized, and this is what I abide by now every single day here in medical school, and this really helps to be to make my life much more easier as well. And that is that I really try and organize my studying around my life and not the other way around. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? So my priority is always in a certain day is to get other things done before I start studying. So because the problem is that if I study first and spend all my time studying, then it's going to be really hard for me to accomplish all other stuff, like filming YouTube videos, going to the gym, going to job, work, family, friends, all that stuff. So yeah, I try and have as much fun as possible and do other stuff which I do prioritize over medical school, unless it's exam season, obviously. So let me give you guys a simple example. So for example, if I have a certain day and I have to choose between filming a YouTube video and cracking out some studying on my computer right beside me, I would obviously, without any doubt, choose to film my YouTube video, as mentioned, unless it's the exam season. And this is because then I can spend the rest of my evening or the rest of my time on studying, on cracking out the studying. For example, even 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever. But yeah, so the point being that my life does not revolve around studying. It's actually the act of studying which revolves around my life. And now I have realized that actually good enough is all you need. You don't have to be an A student or a B student in order to be the best possible doctor or whatever field you may be in. But good enough is going to be more than enough because, and yeah, how exactly do you define good enough, right? So that's the question, or that's an entire debate within itself. But I personally believe that, okay, on a C on average is going to be much better for me than, getting A on every exam and not doing any other thing in life, and just romanticizing with my books all day long. So I prefer to actually have a C on my exams rather, and spending a lot of time on YouTube, on TikTok, on social media, all my friends, family, gym, work, and do all these other amazing stuff in my life rather than spending tons of time dating my books or romanticizing with my books 24/7. And the last point that I actually want to focus on is that we need to, in medical school especially, we need to normalize failing exams. We need to normalize taking retakes, because there are tons of medical students who actually do fail at least one of their exams during the 5 or 6 years of medical school, right? And this, I will talk about this in another video, but the point being that it's such a taboo in medical school because everybody is expected to be super smart, because these are the students who have always achieved top grades. So if you fail once, people are like, oh, this guy is he's dumb or whatever, he's not gonna be a good doctor. So yeah, I think there's a lot of taboo associated with the act of failing your exams or retaking exams in medical school, which I think has to be eliminated and expressed more generally. That's a wrap for today, Sapiens. I hope you found the video useful and fun, and if you did, then you might want to check out this video, which will surely add some value to your life. And before you leave, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the other side. Take care. Peace.